Welcome into the Set It Off Network. I'm your host, Michael Sedetall, and it is an amazing week, folks. It is rivalry week. It is Thanksgiving week. It is everything that college football fans have been craving for all season long. This is the best time of the year. It's like every college football fan's Christmas, and we have an amazing game preview today, and that is of the game. That is Ohio State hitting the road against Michigan. Both these teams sitting at the top of the Big Ten standings right now. Michigan, remember now, 9-2, but one of those losses was out of conference to Oklahoma, and obviously Ohio State, the unanimous number one team in the country, sitting at 11-0, just rolling through opponents. Ever since their week one showdown with number one Texas, they have been on an absolute tear. Um, Everybody kind of knows the deal with this game. This is the only game that matters for both of these two fan bases. And a little bit of the pressure was off of Ryan Day after he won the national championship. But let's be honest, folks, that pressure gets amplified again on Saturday because Ryan Day has now lost four straight to the University of Michigan. And fans are tired of it. And you can see, you can feel it in that program. You can feel the anxiety going into these football games because they have been double digit favorites. They have been close favorites. It hasn't mattered because Michigan has found a way to win every single time. Sharon Moore, 2-0 now as the head coach of Michigan. And honestly, this Michigan team is playing their best football right now. Michigan has rushed for over 200 yards in their last four games, which is really hard to do in a Big Ten environment. That is something that not a lot of people thought were possible. You lose Justice Haynes possibly for the year, definitely not available for this game. But then you have Marshall who comes in and steps into that role and becomes the star that you really needed him to become. Now we know all about the talent on Ohio State's roster. Like everybody knows, like on paper, Ohio State is one of the best teams in college football. Like, I mean, you have an alien at wide receiver, the best offensive player in college football, in Jeremiah Smith. You have Julian Sand, who is just doing what he does. And that is, throwing to the best receivers in college football, not turning the football over. 27 touchdowns this year to only four interceptions, almost at 3,000 yards passing. And he has just been very efficient with the ball. But on the other side of things, a guy who has been a little up and down with obvious reasons because he's a true freshman. This is his first time starting in the Big Ten. It's been an up and down for Bryce Underwood. But Bryce Underwood, we all know the talent that he has, and the potential for him being great is always going to be there. He's throwing to Andrew Marsh, who has had a big year for the Wolverines. He's almost to 700 yards receiving this year. And Bryce Underwood is kind of falling into his own. He's being more efficient with the ball. Earlier in the year, you saw a lot of completion percentage in the 40s, 50s, low 60s. But, he's gotten that number up. He's being a lot more efficient. The running game has helped him immensely, kind of establishing things. But Bryce Underwood has got the talent. Like, nobody is doubting that Bryce Underwood has the talent to accomplish things in his career at Michigan. It's just, is that Michigan offense going to allow him to do that? Because it just feels like it felt like it wasn't a fit, right? Out of high school, like it wasn't, he wasn't going to come in there and start throwing for 350 yards. Like Michigan is going to do what they do, and respect to them for doing that because they have, been very successful doing that. Right now, 9-2, 7-1 in the Big Ten. Ohio State comes into this game. Obviously, if they win, they're going to be in the Big Ten championship game. I'm not sure what the tiebreakers are for Michigan. Obviously, they'd have the tiebreaker over Ohio State then, so they would go in. It would be like a four-way or a three-way tie with them and Oregon. I'm not sure what the dynamics for that is, but a potential postseason berth on the way for Michigan if they can win this football game and go into the Big Ten championship and possibly win that. They could easily sneak into this playoff. So that is not out of the realm of possibility. Like, if you're Michigan, you have everything to play for, not only because this is the biggest game on your schedule, um, but because your postseason hopes are technically still alive, and that is a big deal. Right now, Ohio State sits as an 11.5 point favorite. I expect that number to drop, honestly, significantly into the single digits at some point this week. But you can't deny the way Ohio State's playing, the way that they've been dominating everybody, and everybody's going to crack on them for their schedule, and it hasn't been great. It has not been great, but I mean, they have not even slipped up. Like, they haven't even had one of those games where it's like, wow, you know, a thing here or there, they could have lost that game or played just down to their composition. And then you go look on the Michigan side, right? And they played one possession games like 3 weeks in a row against, lower tier Big Ten teams. But this Ohio State team's been rolling. We already talked about Jeremiah Smith. He is the ultimate X factor in any football game because if you do not focus on him getting the football on Ohio, if you're Ohio State, then what are you doing? Because this dude is a magician. He is the best offensive player in college football. You have to force feed him the football and do whatever it takes to get him the ball at every point you possibly can, because there's not guys out here built like Jeremiah Smith. 900 yards receiving could easily, hit over 1,000 with this game and then a playoff game, Big Ten championship possibly. But I kind of want to talk about the run game. You have a senior in C.J. Donaldson that was brought in from West Virginia who has made a tremendous impact, but lately it's been Bo Jackson. Yes, that is right, Bo Jackson, the true freshman running back, now leads Ohio State in rushing. He almost has 1,000 yards on the season. He has come on immensely as of late. That dynamic duo of them two in the backfield has made Julian Saint's life a lot easier. And what has made Julian Saint's life a lot easier is obviously playing in a lot of these blowout games, but it is the defense. The defense for Ohio State, probably the best defense in the entire country. They go out there and they dominate. They haven't had a game. I don't think they've let a team score 20 points all season. Yeah, 16 points they gave up to Illinois. That was the most points that they've given up. So, how do you win this game if you're Michigan? Um, I think you kind of just pull out some magic like you've been doing, right? You just hope that the pressure kind of eats up Ohio State again, like it's done the last 4 years where they have been favored and been big favorites and all of that other stuff. You obviously have this game at home. That's always a big deal. But you're going to have to hit on an explosive play here or there to kind of open this game up. You're going to have to put a couple touchdowns on the board. Like this game, I don't see this game getting into the 20s, 30s. Like if Michigan is going to win this football game, it is going to be a very low scoring game. And they're going to have to slug it out with Ohio State, and kind of just make it an ugly football game like they've been doing the last couple years. But this game is ultimately more important for Ohio State. Ryan Day has to win this football game. You cannot, people kind of forgave you because you won the national championship last year and that took that monkey off of your back. But this game, you don't think the fan base is going to be talking about it all week? The fact that you've lost 4 times in a row, you don't think those doubts are creeping up into Ryan Day and that staff's head again? Like, why can't we get over this Michigan hurdle? So that's real. That pressure is real. Now, I think personally, Ohio State is going to get it done. I think Ohio State's going to win. I don't expect Ohio State to cover, especially if that line stays around 11.5. But I'm going to take Ohio State to win this football game 23-16. And it is going to be just one of those knockdown, drag out games where maybe Ohio State breaks it late and gets that big touchdown to go ahead late in the game. But this is going to be a dogfight. And Ohio State really needs to get over this hurdle. This is probably the most important game that they have on their schedule for sure. Every single year, this is the main focus, and they just haven't got it done the last 4 times. So it'll be interesting to see this dynamic. It'll be really interesting to see this dynamic if Ohio State were to lose this football game. But that's my prediction. That's all I got for this game preview. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, like the video, leave your comment below. We'd love to hear from you. And then make sure you're subscribed to the channel because we're doing game previews the entire week of Rivalry Week. And then obviously going into the postseason, we have a jam-packed slate for you guys. So make sure you're checking us out on all the socials, on the Twitter X, on Instagram, on TikTok, Facebook, whatever you got. We are probably on it. So make sure you're checking us out. Hopefully you guys have a blessed holiday and enjoy time with your family, watching football all weekend long. It's going to be great. And hopefully we catch you here next time.